Tonight on the WDW Fan Zone show, we're talking about first-time families going to Walt Disney World and with suggestions of where they could eat, some tips, some highlights, and some fun food. As we get into it tonight with John Maloney, Darlene Nagy, Kurt, and Lottie Ferguson, and I am Stuart Sternberg. And we're going to get into it right now with, especially if you're a first time. Now, if you're not a first timer, I'm sure you'll want to listen to the show too, because there might be some places we mentioned that maybe you've overlooked or just haven't tried yet. So some of those restaurants will probably be the obvious, but not all. So there were tips for first-time families going because it's their first time, so they've got to be prepared in certain ways. And John, you put together some helpful information.
Well, we certainly talked before on the show about how preparing for a trip to Walt Disney World is important, and doing research and being aware of the parks and the attractions and everything else. So I think the same thing holds true for the food. So I think for instance, it's important to understand you have a few major options for food. So there are certainly sit-down restaurants where you can get reservations.
Now, John, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the options the decision you make with your options may be time, or it could be budgetary.
Oh, absolutely. Right. So a sit-down restaurant, you have the opportunity to make reservations ahead of time before you go, and you may not be able to get into a restaurant if you don't have a reservation ahead of time. But you also have good choices for counter service where you walk right up, although sometimes the lines can be long, and there's also mobile ordering, which we talked about recently.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have one of the other options I think that you don't always think about, and that's character dining. So especially when you're talking families, if your family is interested in characters, that's a good opportunity for getting your picture with a character, seeing them. You also have to think about, it might be might be a little bit more expensive to have a character dining opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Something to include on that, how we're talking about how it might be difficult to get in. Friends of ours just arrived down there a couple days ago, and they're like, hey, I wonder if there's anything available anywhere. And they just happened to open an app and look at Beaches and Cream. They got in that night.
Really?
It's like unheard of. So don't be afraid to look for a last second cancellation. You might get in. And that's what happened with them. And that's for a family of 5. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't even like just 2 people trying to get in somewhere. It was a family of 5.
I can tell you as an annual pass holder, because I'm here, when I've gone to the parks and we've decided to, instead of go to the usual counter service, we say, let's do a sit down meal. Let's see what's available. Sometimes we'll go to guest services and they'll tell us, oh, there's nothing available, but we'll go to the restaurant itself. And it's like, sure, we've got availability. Come back in an hour, or we can seat you in 15 minutes. So that's taking a chance. I wouldn't recommend, if you're vacationing here and you're not down here, where if you miss a restaurant one time, you can come back another day, fine. But if you're here for a week, maybe 2 weeks or a few days, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend making the reservation far in advance, or as far in advance as you can.
Especially for something that you really want, or character dining, because those are so hard to just walk up and get.
But you know what? If you're coming down here, whether it's a family 4, 5, or even 6, and you've got children with you, and they want to go to Cinderella's castle, guess what? You're not going to walk in there while you're in the park and get that. You're going to have to make that reservation far in advance.
Yeah.
Well, and likewise, we talked about, even if you're not a new family coming in to eat, oh, we've been down there so many times. Oh, we know exactly what's at all the restaurants. Those menus are changing constantly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We don't look at what's the new attraction. What do we want to go over here? Do we want to go? We look at the menus every year, just in case we want to try something new at a different restaurant.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing that every year we research for a good 2 or 3 months.
Now, something I would recommend, whether it's a multi-generational family that's coming down, if your group has children in there, especially elementary school or younger children, even tweens, I would recommend doing at least one character dining. You're on vacation. It may be a little price. If it's a little pricey for you, I get it. I understand you might not be able to do it, but if you can, it's well worth the experience, because the glow you're going to see on your children's faces will last a lifetime.
If you're on a budget, do breakfast. It's about $20 or $30 cheaper.
Yep. That's a good.
And look at your resorts for character dining as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely. Chef Mickey's is over in the Contemporary.
Right in the Contemporary.
Yes. Wilderness Lodge has one.
Now, just a tip on a couple of the character restaurants. Some of them have great food. Some of them, it's the experience with the characters that are going to be more important. So read reviews. What was it? Touring plans? Len Testa's site, the Disney Food Blog. Those are great places to look for tips and suggestions.
Yeah. Even you talked about looking at the menus, even being aware of what the restaurants are. So what counter service is there? What sit-down service is there? What character options are there? Know where they are. And one of the things I think that especially newer travelers to Walt Disney World should understand is it may not, or you have to pay attention to transportation times. So if you make a reservation before dinner in a park, you have to leave time for transportation from your hotel to the park. If you're going to be taking a Disney bus, that's going to take longer. You've got to, once you get there, you have to get out of your car, depending on which park it is. You might have to take a tram, or you might have to walk up to the front. And then you have to actually get to your restaurant. So being aware of how long it takes to get to your restaurant and where you're coming from before going to the meal is really important.
And to make matters worse, if you've got a lightning lane reservation before or after your dinner reservation, that could play a little trick on you too.
That's again, it's planning and organizing. So you don't necessarily want to have everything scheduled out to the finest detail.
No, never.
You have to understand how your different plans impact each other and affect.
And if you're looking for advice, as I'm going to segue into this one, your travel planner, and by travel planner I mean the very best, Mouse Fan Travel, will help you out. They'll give you advice on where to eat and how to manage your day. No, they're not going to tell you what to do and when to do it, but they'll listen to what your needs are and they'll help guide you in the right direction. And you know what? Their advice is absolutely expert advice. It doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. It doesn't mean that what they're telling you would be best for you is actually going to be best for you. You may not want to listen to them. You might want to just do what you want to do and then suffer the consequences. But if you're getting advice from seasoned professionals, take that to heart and listen to what they're saying and try to fit that into how you're preparing for your trip. They're only there to help you. They're not going to try to make your vacation worse. They're trying to make it the best it can be. And nobody does it better than Mouse Fan Travel, whether it's Disney World, Disneyland, an Adventure by Disney, or a Disney Cruise Line trip. Go with the best, forget the rest, and you can find all the great deals they've got going on right now by going to www.mousefantravel.com, www.mousefantravel.com. All right, back to the dining. I think it's important for someone who's either been here, who hasn't been here at all, or hasn't been here for a very long time, to figure out what they're doing in the parks and when, know what their schedules are and the group they're with, their schedules are, when they get hungry, when they want to eat, when they need to rest, and work things around that way, even if you get Genie Plus. And you're not going to be able to hold 100% true to what your plans should be or could be, but you can kind of gauge things after you're in the parks it might take a couple of days in the parks, depending on how long you're here, to actually figure it out. Don't be afraid to ask cast members. They're another great source of information. Although I could tell if you go to Universal and ask one of their attendants some information, they'll send you to a different park. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Disney cast members are great, and they do try to help as much as they can, and just they're as patient with you as anybody will ever be, and they're there to help you too. So that's something else you need to consider.
Oh, and we're here to help you too.
Oh,
so
of course.
We talked about counter service, and we shared on episode 442 how to make the most out of mobile ordering. So if you've got the My Disney Experience app on your phone, or if you don't, go ahead and load it there.
Isn't there another app on their phone that they can go to, John?
Well, not to get reservations for dining, but
not to get those.
If you want to
hear our past shows that they can cringe at or get some good information.
if you want to have a launching point into all of the things that we share at WDW Fan Zone, our social media, our podcasts, and different ways to view or listen to the podcast, you can look for the WDW Fan Zone app in the App Store. It's just on Apple. We don't have it on Android. But you can go back and search through our past podcast episodes, and 442 is the one for Walt Disney World mobile ordering.
Yes, and you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a bunch of others. And when you do, please give us a thumbs up, like the show, share it, and help us out, because the more visible we are to others, the more help we can be to other Disney fans and people coming here. Now, in terms of restaurants, Kurt, I'm going to let you pick a park.
Magic Kingdom.
All right, Magic
I'm looking
Kingdom. A lot
at
of
it
restaurants there.
There's a ton, and if you got a picky eater, see,
and food allergies.
And food allergies and everything else. If we're talking just let's go find a quick service. I actually like Cosmic Rays the best right now. We keep going and giving Pecos Bills a try, and it's kind of been lackluster lately.
I got news for you on Pecos Bills. The same people who went to that restaurant we discussed
earlier,
they
were disappointed at Pecos, eh?
Oh my God, were they disappointed in Pecos Bills? Because they remember what it used to be, and that was the problem.
See, Pecos Bills used to have the best fix-and bar. That's why they always had the best burger. No one has a fix-and bar anymore. Ever since COVID, they just never brought it back.
But the burgers changed too.
Their burger has changed, but Cosmic Rays has such a wide variety. And if you don't mind it being a little bit louder, you can go in and see, why can't I think of his name? Our aliens host.
Sunny Eclipse.
Sunny Eclipse. You can sit down and watch Sunny Eclipse as he plays music, and it's a great show. And it's just nice background music while you're doing. My family, a couple of people have sensitive ears. Obviously, I'm not one of them. I'm loud. And they just really, I enjoy just sitting there and watching that while I'm eating my food. We get done, I leave. They'd rather go to an area where it's a little quieter. That is also available in other areas to dine. But it seems to me like lately, the one restaurant with a wider variety is Cosmic Rays. And it used to be you had to go to each separate area. But again, with mobile ordering now, it's those separate areas are just for pickup. So it's all coming from the same kitchen anyways. I like Charlotte.
I tend to agree with Kurt. That's a great place. Anybody else have anything different at Magic Kingdom? I know we're all going to have a few different suggestions at Magic Kingdom.
Columbia Harbor House.
Yep.
That was one of mine.
Yep, mine too.
The only thing I can eat at Columbia Harbor House is the chicken fingers.
Wow.
Everything else is seafood.
Kurt, if you tell them you have food allergies and what they are, they will find something that's not on the menu for you.
Not easy to do when you're doing it by mobile order.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, mobile order isn't really allergy friendly.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, it'll show you what's available on their menu, but
Mhm.
they're not going to like go and find something else for you somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
But you could go to a cast member there and just say, "Hey, look, I can't mobile order because I have these allergies. I'd like to eat here because the rest of my family wants to eat here. Is there something that could be done where maybe you don't have to mobile order?"
I would love to have that chicken pot pie that they used to offer, and they don't offer it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
They used to have fish and chips there too. Now I think if it's still there, it's with a combo meal with other things that I don't want.
Yeah.
Well, that lobster roll, I've heard my son loved the lobster roll. One of my students was just there. He loved the lobster roll. I would love it if I could still eat it. I can't eat the lobster roll anymore. So that's hence
That's my
the
favorite thing at Magic Kingdom is the lobster roll at Columbia.
yeah. I can't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
So Tomorrowland Terrace, when that was open, just after post-COVID, Columbia Harbor House wasn't open, but instead they had the food over at the terrace. Holy cow, did they have varieties of food that I enjoyed. So,
Now,
'cause
Kurt's talking about particular things with that he can and can't eat. And I'm sure there are people out there that have similar allergies or very different allergies. And I think that Kurt brings up a very good point with mobile ordering. If you can't order what you want, and let's say you're with a group of 10 and you're the one person who can't eat in that restaurant because of food allergies, what do? You
go to a different restaurant and you bring the food over.
Well, I would talk to a cast member first and see if they can accommodate you there at that restaurant before doing that. I would hope they can, but you know what? I think we're going to need to find out, because I think that a lot of people, whether it's a group of 4 or 5, they're going to want to know this before they go.
Well, and again, I have sat there and we've heard people say, "Oh, there's nothing here that I want to eat. Oh, I really want over there. Oh, we'll just meet up with you." And I heard a cast member actually stop them and go, "Wait, are you just talking about right next door?" And they're like, "Yeah, look, bring the food over. It's one big happy family." Now you can't do that at table service, but counter service.
Well, but Kurt,
you can do that.
I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's you want to. If you're with a group of people or your family, you shouldn't have to go to another restaurant and bring it back. You should be able to get accommodated somehow where you are. And I'm not saying it's going to happen every time. It'd just be nice if Disney could do that, or if we can let our viewers and listeners know sometime in the future, in the near future, if we can find out what they actually can do to make it as easy on them, because time is important to people on vacation. But I love the choice of Columbia Harbor House. I think it's a little quieter, and every restaurant at Disney World has a very decent children's menu, because what do kids like? Peanut butter and jelly, chicken fingers.
Well, and there's other options.
Yes.
So we oftentimes will get kids meals because we don't want a lot of food.
Yep.
So maybe we had a big lunch, or we're going to have a bigger dinner. Get the children's menu options, and they have other choices beyond just chicken nuggets and burgers and hot dogs, or peanut butter and jelly. That it's not super broad, but it's something you may not think about. Plus, it can save some money.
Right. I was going to say, some of the times it's the exact same order as the adult order, but it's a smaller portion, and it costs less. And there's nothing there that says on the app that you must be.
No.
They don't know if you're ordering for yourself or for a kid.
They don't care either. It's been going on for years where you can order a children's off the children's menu.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of adults that don't eat big portions of food, and the children's menu is perfect.
I've done it because when you're dieting and stuff, it helps.
Yeah, I've done it too.
Dieting, I just want to try everything everywhere. So in order to make
don't miss out.
Well, you're going to really want to try the new Florida citrus menu in Disney Springs. Trust me.
Anyway, any other counter service restaurants or quick service restaurants that you would recommend for a first-time family? And we're not going to go through every single one in the park.
Well, do you want to switch parks then?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Good choice.
Sleepy. My wife will go to Sleepy Hollow every time and get that silly nut. Again, I'm allergic to Nutella. I can't have it. She loves her Nutella and fruit waffle.
Waffle
So
sandwich.
she will get that waffle sandwich. If we're staying there, I just get the corn dog, or we head over to Casey's Corner. The regular hot dog, yes, it's $10.99. It's a quarter-pound hot dog. That's the regular. So if you get the Jagamba huge one, it's like a half-pound dog. That thing is huge. So if you're a dog guy, go get Casey's dogs.
I'm all for the egg rolls at the egg roll cart by Adventureland.
I still have not eaten that.
I would not recommend Casey's because it's not an all beef hot dog anymore. The hot dogs just aren't as good as they used to be.
When did they change?
Oh, years ago.
Really? I'm not a hot dog person.
Again. Tyler said, because I asked Tyler about it, I go, how's the dog? He goes, something's different.
Yeah.
He goes, it's not as salty as it's been in the past. Because the last couple of years there were really salty dogs.
There's a
so I
different
just did
taste
corn
to it.
dogs this time.
There is a different taste to it. And if you've got kids, especially the picky eaters, I don't think I would go there. Now, where I would go is it? I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I know because I can't remember the name of Pinocchio's Village House.
Pinocchio's Village House.
Well,
but that's all flatbreads.
Yeah.
And that's a very simple menu there, but it's perfect if you're I think it's perfect if you're a first-time family in the park because there's something for everybody there, and it's quick service. You're in and out.
Well, and
I thought it was mostly flatbreads.
No.
So, something else to think about with Pinocchio Village House is if you're lucky enough to get a table by the window, you can see the loading and unloading of It's a Small World.
Yep.
Right.
And I think kids would be interested in that.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of fun. I liked sitting there and watching those if you can get a seat.
2, 3. Yeah. They have 4 different flatbreads, Caesar salad, or chicken strips. That's all they have.
You sure? They didn't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I thought they brought back the burgers and everything else.
No, it's not there. They have an alt meat flatbread, gourmet cheese, margarita, pepperoni, Caesar salad, or with chicken or chicken strips, 4 of which. They don't have the Figaro fries anymore.
No, that's been gone for years.
I know. So sides are bread sticks, French fries, soup, or Caesar salad. They do have plant-based food. That is a cheese pizza. So that's really all that's there. That's why, again, we researched these thinking, okay, let's see, maybe they brought something back. That's all that's there is these flatbreads, and it's
and sometimes a family is just looking for some fuel. They're just looking for something quick and easy and convenient. So it may not be right for everybody, but if you just want a place to sit down, it's cool. Maybe get a chance to see the ride and just grab a quick bite. It may not be if you're looking for a lot of choices, certainly.
That's always my favorite spot to stop and get water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They usually have the dispensers out so you can get some refreshing water at no cost.
Exactly. And if you want to save yourself with the flavor of the water there, get a Brita water bottle with a Brita filter in it. Brita now, they're like $33 or something like that. They have an aluminum, I think it's aluminum water bottle that's insulated. We've been testing them since we came back from our trip, of course. We didn't have them for our trip. But that ice stays cold for a while versus just your regular Brita water bottle that were the plastic on the outside. Those things were warm within an hour with that Florida heat.
Something I want to mention about Pinocchio's Village House, if you go through the menu online, through the Disney site, as you scroll down, it lists all these different allergies and what you can get.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very good. Whether you can mobile order these things.
The app also does list those out in there in the bottom.
Okay.
Gluten-free allergies and things like that. So the app does help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
It just basically, it lists, you've got your here's your food that you can order. Now, if you go all the way down, these are the ones that are going to meet your criteria. So these are the ones you could get that are gluten free. These are the ones you can get.
I wish all the
shellfish
restaurants
allergy
would
or
do
anything
that.
like that.
That'd be nice if all the restaurants would do that and allow you to order it, whatever fits your needs. And, if you've got gluten allergies, order off the gluten-free menu.
Any table service restaurant that I've ever gone to, first question they ask is, "Do you have any allergies?"
Oh yeah, always.
We went to Chef Art Smith, and the first thing, any allergies, I listed my allergies off. The guy came out. He goes, "What are you guys thinking about eating?" And I started telling him. And he's like, "You're safe." He goes, "You can eat every one of those things that you want to eat." There was nothing in there in any of them, because even with if there's Worcestershire sauce, there's anchovies in that.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think we've met our point with the allergies and what you can and can't do. So I'd like to move on now. Sit down restaurants in the Magic Kingdom. I mean, I could think of one, and it's a character meal too. Whether it's
Crystal
breakfast,
Palace, right?
Crystal Palace.
That's number one on my list in that park.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's good if you want lots of poo. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore. Those are the main characters. Brer Rabbit.
Brer Rabbit.
Brer Rabbit. I'm sorry.
What?
Rabbit.
Oh my God!
Good night, everybody. Stuart's done for the night.
Oh,
Winnie the Pooh, Rabbit, Eeyore, and Tigger.
Yeah.
Piglet and Tigger.
Piglet
and Tigger.
Yeah. But great characters. Food is excellent. No matter which meal you go there, it's always great. It's all you can eat. Who doesn't love all you can eat?
It's okay.
Oh,
you're talking to the foodie.
You know what? We don't listen to Lottie because she doesn't like Via Napoli because she doesn't like pizza. She doesn't like Earl's sandwich because she just doesn't like them.
She's the evil sandwich queen.
That's right.
It's pretty in there, and I like the characters, but
food is good.
If I'm going to the Magic Kingdom, that's someplace we again talked about this with the wife. It's too easy to hop off site to one of the other resorts and find finer dining than what's in the Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although I do like Super Canteen.
I have not eaten there yet, so I can't.
I haven't eaten there yet either.
They are much better than Crystal Palace.
I have picky eaters that were like, there's nothing here that I want.
I haven't eaten in Cinderella's Castle either. Any of you guys?
Overrated. Yes, it's overrated.
It's been years and it's overpriced.
It's been years. Well, but I think I don't disagree, and I don't try to go into Cinderella's Royal Table. I've done it one time, but the thing is, it is an experience, and if you've got a family, especially families, with maybe younger kids that are interested in seeing who is
Cinderella.
Cinderella's going to be
it's Cinderella and furry godmother.
Yeah, and there's no other place where you're really inside. You can't be in Cinderella's castle any other way unless you get really lucky and you get to sleep in the apartment up there. But
that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Now, none of us have recommended Be Our Guest. It's a great experience.
It is.
But
they changed the way they do things, and I like the old way.
Yeah,
I like the fast when it was
Service.
reservation quick service lunch.
Yep.
That was a go-to place. It was a little pricier, but the food was that much better than the standard quick service fare. I loved it. We ate there the last year they had it. About a month after we ate there, they changed it to table service only.
It's priced.
And it's a fixed price.
It is not great for breakfast. I will never forgive Disney for charging me $15 for a bowl of
the breakfast. The breakfast. I'm there with you. I did breakfast there one time and wish I had not.
I've only done
$15 for a bowl of fruit.
Fruit Loops, like a bowl of
Fruit
cereal.
Fruit Loops?
Cereal.
Are you
Cereal.
kidding me?
It was a bowl of cereal. It was $15.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that in the past. I ate there for lunch, and it was wonderful. But I don't think I would do the price fixed. It's just
And the price for lunch now is the same as the price for dinner.
yep, for dinner.
Correct.
No
And if you're
discount
there-
for lunch.
If you're there for the first time with your family, that's not the place to go. It's just save that for another trip.
Mhm.
It doesn't have the lure it used to have. Man.
All right, Lottie, pick another park.
Hollywood Studios.
All right, great. And where would you go if, what would your quick service choice be there?
Woody's Lunchbox.
Hmm.
I have not gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Mhm.
Good choice. That's great, especially if you have kids and you want to just like quick eats and let's move on.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, Darlene?
If we're doing quick service, I would probably for breakfast.
It could be
I would,
breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Your choice.
breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Okay, quick service. The Backlot Express. I like
Yeah,
their stuff over there.
That's my number one
Nice
choice in
variety.
that whole park for quick
Mhm.
service.
Cuban sandwich is very good.
Yeah,
I agree.
And it has a lot of space.
it does.
Mhm.
And and the menu is just. I think the menu is one of the best menus for quick service in all the parks.
They do have a good variety,
Yep.
but I really did enjoy that barbecue, or it was buffalo chicken toasted cheese sandwich at ABC Commissary. That is a good sandwich.
I am not a big fan of the ABC Commissary.
Well, then that's more room for me and my group to go.
Exactly.
John, any choice for yourself? Quick service.
If you're looking for something, maybe some theming, Docking Bay 7 is a place that I like to go to. It's in Galaxy's Edge and
Yep.
Batu. It's a little bit difficult to find a place to sit sometimes.
That's true.
That's the thing that I think is a little bit of a difficulty there. So certainly the Backlot Express has plenty of seating. Docking Bay 7 not as much.
I think that might be a little difficult for children to find something on the menu.
They messed up my wife's order, and it took over 20 minutes to fix.
So I've had nothing but good experiences there.
They
Slightly,
messed up the
yeah.
order. It was supposed to be with chicken. They didn't add the chicken. I explained the mistake. They're like, "Yep, we'll help you in a minute. Yep, we'll help you in a minute." 20 minutes later, I finally got the food. Now my food was cold while I had to wait for that. And I was not the only person. There was about 3 or 4 people standing there all saying the same thing.
Maybe it
Our
was
order's wrong.
Maybe it was just a bad day with staff.
It had to have been. And to top it all off, they just weren't impressed with the meal.
Anybody else have a bad experience there, or
I've not had a bad experience there, but it's meh. I
I've
mean,
been there a couple of times, actually a few times, and I love the food there.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Ronto Roasters better than Docking Bay 7.
And I wanted to try there, and no one would go there with me. I was disappointed.
So
Yeah.
folks, what you find out here, it's just a matter of taste. It's all subjective to what you like and don't like.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of it either.
No, 2-4-3 against the 2-4 win.
Yeah, the Docking Bay. The first time we went there, it was okay. The second time, the chicken was a little bit dry. It was kind of bland. They just didn't. People didn't enjoy it because when I brought it up, I go, "Do we want to try it again?" It was a unanimous no. Do not want to go back there.
We found it I've been there many times, and we find the food very flavorful, and it's not your standard fare, which is one of the other things I like about it.
I just think that place would be a little difficult to get a preschooler to enjoy.
I would agree for the
I
very
agree.
young ones. I think the young ones would like the theming.
Yep.
But like we've said before, though, Disney takes care of their guests. So
They
if
do.
you've got a preschooler or young one, they're going to have an option that they can.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And something to keep in mind though is like we did this with our kids when they were little. We would bring them to even sit down restaurants, and they would say, "We don't want to get anything off the adult menu." Let's say they were 10 or 11 at the time. Too bad. You're getting something off the adult menu. You're not ordering off the children's menu. Try something, and invariably they loved what they got. But
He was that dad.
Yeah.
He was a parent. He was an active,
You know what?
engaged
If
parent.
you don't teach your children to try different things, they'll grow up like a couple of family members that are not in. Well, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I will say that they're relatives of ours, but not my kids, whose parents allowed them to just get mozzarella sticks or eat a hamburger, and they didn't try anything else, and that's all they knew, and that's all they wanted, and all they liked.
No, you gotta. We usually, and again, part of the thing with Docking Bay is it's very, very crowded.
It is.
There's just not a lot of room, and you do kind of feel like you're right on top of each other. But they need that much for people to be able to sit down and eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically we just went with a group of 6. Gave 3 options, here, and here. Look at the menus, and we all looked at the menus and we voted. The one with the most votes won.
Well, the one with the least votes here wins. Me and John. We won.
Oh gosh. He doesn't do that for me often.
No.
Folks, so.
Sit-down restaurants in Hollywood studios. Now, keep in mind, it's not what you would like. It's what you think a first-time family would like.
If it's a first-time family with young kids, I think if the kids enjoy a good barbecue, maybe try that Roundup Rodeo barbecue.
Yeah, that would probably be the best bet for deciding to do that would be that one.
Or our favorite, 50s Primetime.
Yeah,
That's what
I would have gone with.
50s is a lot of fun.
I still have a problem with 50s Primetime. I love the old days where they would just like ridicule you for drinking too many sodas or not putting your napkin in the right order. They want you to, just not eat.
You didn't eat your green beans. You're not going to get
right.
a dessert until you eat another green bean.
I mean, I've seen them humiliate people, including Michelle. But I've seen them humiliate. Like one time there was a kid, they made him stand in the corner facing the wall because he didn't eat his vegetables. It was hysterical. But this, or this day and age, you do something like that to a kid, the next thing you know, the parents are suing Disney.
Right. Yeah, they want a free meal.
Yeah, that too. I think those would be the 2 choices for me. I can't think of anything else.
What's the one that's right next door to they have the Disney Junior
oh yes, it's
the
50s
Disney
Primetime.
Junior
Hollywood Vine.
Hollywood
Vine.
Yes.
When my kids were little, they loved the Disney Junior character dining.
Yes, that's a lot of fun too.
We used to like the buffet there, but the last time we ate there, which was, and I'm going back 2 years, so it was during COVID. Food was okay.
Well, we gotta.
Or was it right before COVID? It might have been right before COVID.
You're right. You're right. The food is okay,
now.
but that's where you see all of the Disney Junior characters.
Right.
Right.
You got little kids. That's the place to be.
Yep. I would agree with you. And you know what? They're not going to care about the food being just okay.
They don't eat it anyway.
The Disney Junior characters.
Yeah. Disney Junior characters are for the morning. The dinner I want to say is, I think that one changed to Daisy, Donald, Mickey, and Minnie?
I don't know.
I know the breakfast is Disney Junior.
All right. Well, I'm sure our listeners, viewers, all 2 of them will figure it out.
They can look it up.
Well, you could always give your younger ones a chance to sit a little bit by themselves for a sit-down meal if you give them their own seat in the car at the Sci-Fi Dining Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So you give them a little bit of autonomy, but without losing track of them.
All right, now I can't stand that restaurant for a number of reasons. However, I'm going to say something that John's probably going to go, wow, he said that. If you have young children who are looking for a different experience, or you have grandparents who remember those old black and white sci-fi movies, it might be a fun experience, but don't expect much from the food. And now I'm not talking about quality. The price makes the food. I just think it's overpriced. I do.
You know what? Stuart, here, let's compromise because I agree with you. Go in for a snack. Just go in for a dessert, sit down, maybe grab a malt or a shake, grab whatever dessert they have, watch your little video, enjoy it, and then we'll leave.
But you know, if you do have little kids, it's an experience I think they would enjoy. You know, it's like it's not the experience I would want to go through now. But we took our kids there when they were little, and they loved it.
I don't know that I would take little kids there, like maybe 8 to 14.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Alicia was 10 when we ate there. Yeah.
Yeah, my kids are about that, you know,
Yeah.
somewhere between 7 and 10.
Yeah, the
And just,
little ones might get a little scared.
and just be prepared to hear from the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
No, we always put them in the front seat. We made them drive.
Ah, right.
Now, a restaurant I would recommend if you have older children and you're there for the first time is Mama Melrose.
Mhm.
I would not go
They
there with younger
have-
children. It's a little bit too fancy for them. But if you've got older kids, Mama Melrose is a good place. When I say older kids, I'm talking teenagers. And
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. If you like good Italian food, we do recommend Mama Melrose's.
Mhm. Anyway, let's move on to another park. Who hasn't picked yet?
Next.
Darlene and John. So one of you just blurt one out.
Epcot?
Sure. So John, you're stuck with Animal Kingdom. Epcot's got a wide variety of food wherever you go, from the front end
The
of it to the
widest
back end.
variety.
Yep.
Yeah, the widest variety.
So, Darlene, what would your quick service be there that you would recommend for a first-time family?
My quick service would probably be the new hang on, I'm still in
Connections.
Connections, yes. I want to say creations. I'm thinking shopping.
Yeah.
If you do Connections, make sure you mobile order because it takes forever otherwise stuck in that line.
See, I've had different experience with that. I've had the experience where where we should have mobile ordered. I've had experiences where the mobile ordering was down for whatever reason, and you had to wait in line. And I've also just got online and got the food very quickly.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
do have very good
Are we keeping you awake, Darlene?
sorry. I'm yawning. They have very good cast members there that know what they're doing with the food and stuff. It's working out great.
The meatball pizza was good, not complaining. Very thin, definitely a New York style pizza.
I love the waffle.
And my favorite there, besides the dessert, is the hamburger. It is the best burger on property, bar
He
none,
likes-
as far as quick service restaurants go.
Yeah. my
Tyler
husband,
did enjoy
he
the
likes
burger.
them too.
Yeah, you're not going to find a better burger at another quick service restaurant on property, and very few off property, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that would be my choice too. John, how about you?
I have Regal Eagle as my
Yes.
choice for counter service because
That's a good place too.
it's I think most families could find food that they the parents like the food, the kids like the food,
Mhm.
a lot of space, good air conditioning, and it's got great flavor. And even if you like vegetarian or vegan options, I love the jackfruit burger that they have there. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, it's very flavorful and lots of space.
That would have been my second choice.
I love Regal Eagle. The fries are the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that little bar right outside
Yep.
that has an amazing mint julep.
If you're there with young children, please do not drink and drive with your kids. By drive, I mean do not walk
Pushing
around
their
the park
stroller.
drunk. Lottie, what would your choice be for? If it would it be the same as what's been mentioned, or do you have another choice that you like?
Yeah, I like Regal Eagle or what's the right when you walk past the Odyssey and there's the Mexican quick service right there.
Yes.
What's
That's
the
Oh,
name?
my
yes.
favorite pick.
La Hacienda?
Yeah.
That's the person San Angelo.
No, it's La. Is it?
No,
yeah,
La-
it is La.
No, it's the one.
It's like La Cantina de San Angel.
A cantina, right?
Yeah.
La
Yeah,
Cantina.
It's La Cantina de San Angel. It's the
That's a
outside.
great place.
Can you
That was
take the
great for kids.
food from there and go in for lunch? Can you take the food from there and go inside the La Hacienda and eat it there?
I
No,
don't think so.
you
I
got to eat it outside.
Yeah.
no, I actually think I've actually heard you can.
I have not seen that, but
I've not tried that. I
Never
just go
tried
across
it.
the way to get the
we'll do a
margaritas.
research trip.
Yes.
You go across
Let's
the way
do
and
a
get the
research.
margaritas, and then you
Sure.
eat the margaritas with the tacos and the quesadillas outside.
Then
Yeah.
you walk in, yeah, because there's outside seating at La.
Well, right, but if it's a real hot sunny day, it might feel good to be in the air conditioning.
They're not going to let you go in there because there's reserved seating for the restaurant.
That's right.
But do they have lunch?
Don't know.
To my knowledge, yeah.
I would think they
I've heard
do.
I've heard the opposite, so I guess we'll have to find out.
Do that research, John. Look it
Yep.
up.
Darlene, research time.
So, Kurt, where would you go? Anything
I
different?
agree.
or-
Well, they just stole my 2 restaurants. So
Yeah.
now what I'm going to make people do is I'm going to make them really work.
They stole my 3 restaurants.
Yeah. Those are my 2 restaurants that I was going to, those are my go-tos.
Mhm.
So what we're going to do instead is everyone always wants something different. You're all walking around the park anyways. And this time, it used to be you could only have kiosks certain times of the year with food and wine. There's a kiosk for everything that they do now.
Yeah.
Just
There is.
choose something at a kiosk. And if you like it, when you get there, eat it.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Because they do switch things out too.
They do
Yes.
all the time.
Yes, that's where you got to do your research. That what's it called, a muffalita that
Yeah.
they had over the
Muffaletta.
American Adventure one.
Muffaletta. Yes.
You know,
Muffaletta.
I want to make a plea to Disney, and please bring back Ashka House. I want the buffet back. I want that whole experience. That would, that's a great place if you're looking for different food to try with your family. I don't know how it is with young kids, but
I've done it.
I really wish they would bring it back.
Over at Germany?
No, Norway.
Oh, Norway. I'm sorry.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What
Thank
did
you,
they? Oh,
Ven-
they took it
I,
out.
like
They
the,
put
I
in the-
love the venison there. I know somebody who hated it, but I loved it.
Is that where they put in the Royal Banquet Hall or Curses?
I think right now it's a meet and greet or something. I'm not even sure. But it's not operating as a restaurant right now. And that kind of pains me because I want to go back there. I miss it.
You might be the only one if they got rid of it. Either that
Yeah,
or
it could be.
I don't know what to tell you.
And I want to thank well, actually, I shouldn't thank everybody yet because we're going to do the sit-down restaurants now. John, why don't you go first with that?
For Epcot, so mine is going to be a combination between table service and, well, I'm just going to stick with the table service part of it, and that's the Garden Grill
That was mine.
because
Yeah.
it's family style, so there's plenty of food for everybody. If you have a bigger family, you'll get more food, and it's such good, comfort, tasty food.
Mm-hmm.
And you certainly get to see the parts of the attraction as you spin around there.
Yep.
And you get the benefit of
The attraction being the
having
land.
characters there as well.
Yeah.
Mickey, Chip, Dale, and Pluto, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. That would have been my. It's not my favorite restaurant in that park. That would have been my number one choice too, because that has something for everybody, and it's just a phenomenal experience. And the food is as good as the entertainment.
Mm.
Some of the best food in the parks. Darlene.
Via Napoli.
Yep, that would have been my next choice. Because who besides Lottie doesn't like pizza?
You see
Yeah.
families there all the time, though, too.
You do.
Yeah.
Enjoying
A lot.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah, and you don't have to just if it's the right season and the pizza window's open, the slices are like, I mean, literally, if you're watching us on YouTube, they're huge.
Mhm.
It's a good slice of pizza.
Yeah.
But the slice of pizza that you get outside is not the same pizza that you get inside. I found that out the hard way.
I wouldn't know because the window's always closed when I'm there.
I went there, I ordered a slice of pizza, and instead of getting that hand tossed pizza that you would get that like you'd get in Italy, it was more like this
CC's?
deep dish, like thick crust. It just
Really?
was not the same pizza.
Huh.
It was
Ours
it
was like
different.
thin.
Not mine.
Yeah, you could fold it in half and eat it.
Oh, not this one. You had to cut it with a knife.
You know, I think Disney waits for Kurt to go on vacation
I
and go
think
Kurt
so
is messing
too.
these up.
screw with him and mess up his food. And
That was a couple years ago during when my wife and I went down for our anniversary. And we were like,
maybe you
"That's
should
not
try
that
it
good."
again next time.
it was closed.
Yeah, I know. It's
So the
always-
first time
it's
it was
always
open, it
closed.
was the same. The first time it was open, it was the right way. The second time when it was open, it's like, this isn't the same pizza. This isn't right. So
Maybe
very
it was the
disappointed.
chef. Lottie, where would you go since you've got the most? How can I put this? Selective taste in food.
You know, if you're a family with kids, garden grill. I mean, you can't beat that. You don't have to get up and do anything, and all the food comes to you, and
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have to worry about ordering. I love it for breakfast. You get there early, you get breakfast, and then you get straight in line for frozen or Remy.
John, would you pick anything different than what we've mentioned so far?
John started it. It was
I'm sorry.
You blew me
It's
off.
Kurt. It's Kurt. I'm sorry.
now.
I'm having a good day.
I used to say Le Cellier, but it's just changed way too much. Although I do love their Canadian cheddar cheese soup, but you can get that outside.
But would you
I-
recommend that for kids?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it for kids, but what I still would recommend for kids and for family. And my kids ate at Le Cellier when they were younger, but it just changed too much. Again, my kids are 23 and 21, so it's changed too much through the years. But Via Napoli, we almost went to Via Napoli this year. And we're like, let's not, because we're going to eat our way around anyways. And I think my son was most disappointed that we didn't eat there. He would have rather eaten there than walk around and eat.
Now, I'm going to mention a restaurant that nobody's mentioned, and it's not number one on my list. It's not number 2 on my list, but it is number 3 on my list. Beer Garden.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been there quite a few times over the last couple of years, and I see a lot of families there with
Well, that's
kids of
family
all
style,
ages.
isn't it?
I'm sorry?
It's a lot of sausage and stuff,
Is
isn't
that
it?
family style? Is it served?
No, it's buffet again.
Oh, it's
I
buffet.
actually liked it better when it was family style. They did that during COVID, but they went back to a buffet, and it's just the food is great all the time. The entertainment's fun. It's just everybody's a good time, and it's nice to look over at another table and see a 12-year-old telling his father to look the other way while he takes his beer stein and chugs it down. No, that didn't happen.
I've not been there yet.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta go.
Neither have I after all these years.
One of my favorites.
Really?
Mhm.
I get
we
mixed
gotta
by my
do a
family
zone-
every time.
We got to do a zone trip one of these days.
You know, I'd be happy. I would feel better doing that. It's a little awkward to me to go in with just 2 people.
People
Yeah.
do
Because-
that.
You know, it's because it's all that communal seating. But if we had a group, that would be fun.
Okay, we'll plan on that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm game. Animal Kingdom, John. Since you picked this park,
Since I picked the park,
yeah, you get to go first.
I'm going to go with, we're talking counter service first, and I know it's a lot of people's favorites, and it's my favorite, but I also think it's good for families, and it's a Thule Canteen.
Yep.
It has good food. You can get the pods, the cheeseburger pods, or you can get something a little bit different with some of the combinations you can get with the grains and the meats, but it's got good desserts too. It's got plenty of seating inside and outside, and it's one of the newer facilities for dining there in the animal kingdom. It's comfortable, it's themed, and
Actual silverware.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, it's real silverware. How about that?
Yeah. And there's plenty of there's always available tables in there, it seems.
No, we've gotten burned by that before and had to sit outside.
Oh, inside or outside, there are available tables.
Yeah, every time we've been there, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be crowded, and I get in, and there's a lot of people there, but there's just so many tables. I think
we were there during like a cheerleading competition thing on an off day, and everything inside was full, and we had to sit outside. So that's happened once. Otherwise, if we got a small enough group, you can fit in there. You got a group of 4, you can fit almost anywhere in there, which is nice. When you have 2, it makes it a lot easier for finding the inside seats.
Well, certainly, and they've got the soda stations. You can get there, refill your soda.
Yep,
I've been there with small groups,
beautifully
and large
designed,
groups, and it is difficult to find a table when you're with a large group, especially inside. But outside is usually not a problem because nobody wants to sit outside.
That was it. It was we were sitting under the tarp. We felt like we were still like at least on the dark side of the sun. It was still pretty darn hot.
Yeah. Let's go with you, Kurt, this time.
Since he took my number 1 pick, I'll go over to my wife's number 1 pick. We're going to Flame Tree Barbecue.
That was mine.
There's so many choices there. And then there is a ton of seating down below. It's all outdoors, but you can go right down on the waterfront.
Nice and shaded.
It's all shaded.
Yep.
Don't give in to those ducks that are begging and telling you that they haven't eaten in a month. If you look at them, they are pretty well fed, and there are signs everywhere that say, "Do not feed the animals."
Yeah, you're not doing them a favor.
No. Yeah. The squirrels, same thing.
They're so cute.
They come up. We had a squirrel on our last trip. They came up. We went over to the Wilderness Lodge. This guy came over to us, and he was like begging, "Oh, I haven't eaten in 5 minutes." Just begging for food. And we're like, "Come on, get out of here."
Yeah.
The squirrels down here are kind of anorexic.
Not the ones in the park.
Not the one I saw.
The ones in the park look healthy.
So Lottie, is there a place you would pick that these guys haven't mentioned yet? Same thing with you, Darlene, but we'll go with Lottie first.
Yeah, no, Satuli and Flame Tree Barbecue are probably my 2 favorites for families.
I can think of a couple of others, but I'll hold off on that. Darlene.
Okay, since my Flame Tree Barbecue went, my other place would be the Yak and Yeti local cafe.
That's it.
That's good.
That's a good choice.
I know. Yeah.
I love that one for the chicken, but the rest of my family's like, whatever.
I like the pork egg rolls over there.
And you know what? Some of the items on that menu are very similar to what you would find in Yak and Yeti.
Indoors. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Now I would go with my number 1 choice, and actually those are my first 3 choices. Was Tuli's, then Flame Tree, and then the Yak and Yeti quick service. But I have another choice that I like. If you're looking for simple food, you're looking for just like burger and fries, and there's always a place to sit in there. Is Restaurant de Sars.
Yep. Yep.
That's always a great place.
Yep,
to go.
that's another one. Yeah.
Yep.
There are quite a few good places to eat.
There are. There really are.
Now, if you did a snack, there's that ice cream place right outside a restaurant of Soros. They have, it's like an ice cream sandwich, the cookies are probably at least 6 inches each, and
Wow.
the scoop is like the size of a 16-inch softball, and that's your ice cream sandwich. It was flipping huge. We saw it. We're like, I'm not eating that. So it's very shareable.
All right. Now let's finish up this park with the sit-down choices for families. Don't all jump in at once.
Mhm.
Well, there's Yak and Yeti. There's Tusk House.
That's what I was gonna say was Yak and Yeti.
There really aren't that many choices for sit-down restaurants, and
No one wants to go to Rainforest Cafe?
Well,
I
there's
don't count that.
Tiffins.
I don't count Rainforest Cafe because
I
it's
don't either.
outside the park.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. Tusker House, character dining.
Yep. Yeah,
I've heard Tiffin's is delicious, but I
haven't eaten it.
It's amazing, but that's
I've never
not.
been
It's
there.
not a
I wouldn't take families.
It's not a
Right.
kid. Yeah, it's not a
Yak
kid.
and
place.
Yeti, you can take kids to.
Another restaurant I would never recommend to anybody is Pizza Fari.
No,
It's just like if you've been to CC's, it's a step up, but it's not that much of a step up.
not much. No.
All right, I think that's going to do it for the parks. Now, do we have time where we want to go around the resorts, or would you rather table this and do a part 2?
I'd rather we focus
I think-
on that if we were going to do that.
Okay, sounds good. I'd rather do a part 2 anyway, because we
Mhm.
also have to do Disney Springs.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
2 and 3.
I'm sorry.
I think we could do the resorts with
Yeah, I think so
Disney
Is
too.
it
Springs
spring,
together.
you think?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Well,
Okay.
you do one of them first, and if you think you're running out of time, then you can call an audible.
Yep.
Yep, just like tonight. All right, that is going to do it for us this week. We're going to be back on a special night early in the week next week with our shows. Yeah, a lot of you are surprised. I'm sorry we had this conversation before you joined in for Monday night. If you're available, we're recording then. So we're going to do
She'll think
part
about
2, which will be the resorts in Disney Springs. And if for some reason we can't fit it all in, there'll be a part 3.
Ooh.
So everybody, please be safe. Be yourself. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
I heard us talking about cosmic rays tonight, so I got to share. Hello, all you earthlings. My name is Sunny Eclipse. His name is Sunny. Oh, his name is Sunny. But so hope you have a sunny attitude and a sunny day through
And
now
a sunny
next-
side up.
Yeah, now through next week. See you on Monday.
Have a magical night. Stay safe and pack your sunscreen and your rain jacket. Forgot about all that rain.
Oh, here we go again.
We're in a drought. We don't have rain right now.
Well, it's not stopping again. This is unbelievable.
It doesn't. Talk shoe does not like Stewart, people. We don't know what
No.
else to say. We're very sorry. He's got a broken finger. I don't know. He can't click the button.
Apparently, he doesn't have the magic at his fingertips.
I'm just going to have to end it manually.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll post. Otherwise, I'll send them another ticket. All right. Have a good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye now.